He's been away from office for a while, and yet Joe Biden's still getting roasted. This is actually a legit X post from the official White House account.
You remember the bunny with Joe Biden? Remember? You remember when the bunny took Joe Biden out? He's not taking Trump out anyway.
Democrats are doing their best to run away from former President Joe Biden's legacy. Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin sends a threat to El Salvador's leadership. Their party gaslights the American people, and a possible investigation has a lot of former White House staffers worried. Guys, there's a lot to go through today, so let's not waste a second more. Let's talk about former President Joe Biden, shall we? Democrats are having a tough time outpacing the legacy that he left behind. From Bidenomics to the border invasion, it's kind of tough to get away from policies that many believe has set our country back several years. One issue that the left couldn't handle was his mental sharpness. And even though we got bombarded with propaganda from mainstream media, it wasn't enough to fool the country as he took on President Trump in this debate. And we all know the story. He did so poorly that they were forced to put in Kamala Harris as the substitution. And to make it even worse, there are some who feel as if accountability is needed. That and a thorough investigation as to what happened during the latter part of his term. Now, you might remember him pardoning his own son, Hunter Biden. This was after he claimed that he would never do something like that. He did the same thing for the likes of Liz Cheney, Dr. Anthony Fauci, and retired General Mark Milley, all while the clock ran down on his time as president. Kind of questionable, right? Well, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey is also asking a lot of questions. He's actually requesting an investigation from the DOJ regarding the final months of Biden in office. With his mental capacity in question, it's possible that unelected officials used his power to influence major decisions. And when we talk about unelected officials, we're talking about his staffers. Now, it is possible that these people received instructions from other high-ranking officials, but the problem is that it's plausible that Biden himself was not aware of what was happening. AG Bailey argues that staffers and the vice president cannot constitutional evade accountability by laudering far-left orders through a man who does not know what he's signing. He also questioned the executive orders, pardons, and other actions from the White House, citing that they could be deemed unconstitutional and legally void, which could mean that the J6 committee can still be prosecuted and charged. Hey, by the way, guys, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below. The evidence also doesn't help the Democratic Party. Remember this clip where they seem to have green screened the former president into a video of reporters asking questions? Watch his right hand real carefully.
Travel to the southern border, sir? Not at the moment. Have you decided when you're able to share thoughts with other countries? Is it allies or neighbors first? Who will be the first country to get U.S. vaccines? I've been talking with several countries already. Well, I'll let you know that very shortly.
He needs new editors, the same way he needs a new graphics artist. Biden is now under scrutiny yet again for a photo that they recently uploaded on X. Now, as you can see, there is a bit of a proportion issue there. Either he's floating on air or Joe's been taking a bunch of ballet lessons. I can't really tell. There's also this creepy hand at the back of one of his grandchildren's neck. Now, I'm sure whoever edited this wanted to make it seem as if it was his hand, but it just makes it look that much more horrible. And here's what I think is going to happen with this photo. Democrats, they're just going to sweep it under the rug. They don't want to talk about the former president anymore, especially since he continues to drag the entire party down with some of the most ridiculous things that he's done in office. Now, I want to show you guys just how much they don't want to talk about this. Watch how Senator Elizabeth Warren physically squirms in her seat as she's asked about Joe Biden. In one moment, she's laughing at the notion that the former president was as mentally sharp as her. Watch.
Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him. You said that up until July of last year.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
I said I had not seen decline. And I hadn't at that point.
You did not see any decline from 2024 Joe Biden to 2021 Joe Biden?
Not when I said that. You know, the thing is, he was sharp. He was on his feet. I saw him. Live event. I had meetings with him a couple of times.
Senator, on his feet is not praise. He can speak in sentences is not praise.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Look, the question is, what are we going to do now?
Okay, whatever you say, Senator. It's insane to think that they're out here literally lying to our faces. And her saying that she hasn't seen him decline, it makes it that much worse. Because it's like she's saying that Biden has been like this for years. And this is a great representation of the party of gaslighters. They honestly believe that the American people are that ignorant and that we're not informed as to what they've been feeding us for years. Now, if we're talking about gaslighting, we should definitely talk about Senator Chris Van Hollen. For a lawmaker who's fighting to bring gang members back home, he sure doesn't believe that the guy he's fighting for is innocent. Watch.
Did you ask him if he has any association with MS-13?
I did not ask him directly because he's answered that question repeatedly, as his lawyers have. My purpose in going there was to, number one, see if he was alive, see if he was healthy, take his story. As I said, they have litigated this case on MS-13, and it was the judge in the most recent case who says, put up or shut up. So that's what I say to President Trump and others, put up or shut up.
Hearing these reports from Prince George's County Police and from the immigration judge and the appeals court in the immigration setting, do you worry, though, that you are sticking your neck out for somebody who maybe down the line is proven to be connected to MS-13?
I want to be very clear. I'm not vouching for the man. I'm vouching for the man's rights, his constitutional rights to due process. And the proper place to litigate that is in the courts. And the most recent federal district court judge that looked at this, Judge Zinnes, said that the administration had presented no evidence of his connection to MS-13 or, by the way, to any other criminal gang or terrorist activity.
Okay.
So, again, all the issues you raised, why aren't they presenting those to the courts? So, again, put up or shut up in court, which is where we litigate these things.
Now let's talk about the numbers for a second. The average senior overpays by hundreds of dollars a year on Medicare because they picked the wrong plan. Did you guys know that? Or maybe they were sold one that didn't actually fit their needs. But thankfully, a company called Chapter is fixing that. They compare every single plan in your area, not just the ones that they get paid to show you. And they actually help you to find the ones that save you the most money, fits your doctors, and unlocks any hidden benefits. Julie from Kansas switched with their help and saved $400 a year. Jamie in Texas, she reclaimed $600 back in her Social Security check. And the good thing is, Chapter's advisors, they treat you like family. And it's completely free. There's no commissions, there's no upselling, just clarity. Call my friends over at Chapter. Their phone number is 909-563-8279. If you or someone you love is on Medicare or about to be, don't wing it, just call Chapter. And as much as I hate having to talk about this issue, we have to, guys. Since Democrats are very much on their game to try and gaslight the entire nation, Senator Amy Klobuchar was on CNN recently. According to her, it's the Trump administration who wants to continue to talk about Garcia.
You have got courts now intervening, and what can they do to make it right? Well, if the administration won't do it themselves, a court does have the power to refer it to the Justice Department, mentioned by Judge Boasberg here. But also, if the Justice Department won't do anything, a court can actually appoint a prosecutor on their own, an outside prosecutor, because they have the power to hold people in contempt. And that may be the people that did the deporting. It may be the secretary who's responsible for this. But they have the right to do this. And of course, in past administrations, they followed the law. And in other areas, the Trump administration is following the law.
So I just want to.
Go ahead.
Forgive me. I just want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying correctly, which is that you believe that the federal courts, maybe a district court, I'm not sure. You can tell me if the Supreme Court could even do this, should hold key administration officials in contempt if they continue to defy the Supreme Court, which I'm guessing you see.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the way our law works. Yes. And my point is they have picked out this case and this man because it's about a subject that they want to keep in the news. So it's even more cynical than just flaunting the law. They're doing it because they want to distract people from the fact that our economy is in a tailspin thanks to them. Their tariffs, the fact that you've got businesses that are looking at closing down or not investing, that costs are up, chaos is up, corruption is up, and the market is down. So for the most cynical reasons, this is the case they've picked to not obey the law. Maybe one they will, all of a sudden, they'll just send him back. Or maybe they'll be held in contempt. But I think it's really important for people to realize they're following the law in other cases. They've just decided not to follow the law with this guy.
So it's the Trump administration that wants to keep talking about this guy, right? Well, if that's the case, why the heck is Jamie Raskin sending threats to another nation's leader?
But look, President Bukele, who's declared himself a dictator, and the other tyrants, dictators, autocrats of the world have to understand that the Trump administration is not going to last forever. We're going to restore strong democracy to America, and we will remember who stood up for democracy in America and who tried to drive us down towards dictatorship and autocracy. So I'm glad that Chris Van Hollen showed exactly where America is, and we're not afraid of any dictator anywhere.
And as far as we can see, it's Democrats who want to keep this narrative alive. And if we heard Raskin right, he wants to reverse what President Trump is doing, meaning that if they take back the White House, they're opening those borders once again. Do any of you agree that this should be done by Democrats? Do you really think that the Democrats should be opening our borders if they were able to take over after Trump leaves? Now, let me redirect you to a recent video I did where I covered a possible financial shakeup here in our country. Guys, I'm talking about the $5,000 Doge dividend checks that could end up in our pockets soon. Make sure you guys check that out. I dropped a major bombshell update on that one. As always, thanks for hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you next time.